Have you done a DNA test, by the way?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, I did a 23andMe, and it was 99.9% Ninwa.
Ninevite.
No
Yeah.
shit. That's amazing.
It's pretty crazy.
I've done it where
99.9.
you can take your
you can't
DNA.
get any close to
I'll
that.
I'll give you even crazier. You can take your DNA. If you download your data, I did mine through Ancestry. You can download your data, raw data, and then you can use other third parties and upload that data. There's like G25 coordinates that they'll use your data to give you these G25 coordinates.
way.
And then they'll compare it to different models. Like you may have a European model, ancient model, Asian model. So you just pick the proper model. And there's many of them, and some of these models have the DNA information that has been sequenced from archaeological sites. One specifically during the Iron Age, from a region called Batman, southeastern Turkey. They had discovered Assyrian soldiers dead. They extracted the DNA, sequenced the DNA, and you can compare your DNA to that, and it shows continuity. And then when you compare a lot of the DNA from Chaldean Catholics, Assyrian Church of the East, Ancient Church of the East, Muslawis, Mandaeans, and what other groups do I got? The Syriacs, all Arameans. The DNA continuity is so close that, like, it just tells you we're all the same people.
Yeah.
We're just divided over different church theological views, in a sense. And you can actually even further distinguish our differences from Kurds, from Arabs, from Persians,
From Phoenicians.
exactly, from Syrians and from Palestinians. And it really shows that the DNA really shows continuity and
That's crazy, man.
crazy closeness. And I think DNA is going to be a very impactful scientific technology for cultures across the world. And it shows how people migrated as well. Like they can really.
Now, sometimes you don't have control of like who you fall in love with and so on, like yourself, you know. And so
Right.
sometimes you find a beautiful Venezuelan woman, it makes sense and so on. But
It happens.
I think this is
God
one
bless you.
of those plugs to if you can find a way to marry someone in the community that cares about the language and stuff. Would be a good idea, you know. And that's why you're learning a little bit of Sudath and some
Yeah.
Venezuelan, and I think that's really amazing that you're trying to do that. And some people marry outside of the culture, and it makes them want to learn more about the culture instead of marrying somebody within the culture and taking it for granted.
Also, it's like some people that are like the biggest advocates for like their tribe are mixed. Like there's people who are mixed that are advocates for like their mom's side or father's side of culture because they want to learn more about it. They're curious about it.
Exactly.
So it's like, I think it's inevitable. Like there's going to be mixing. Like there was a
There
point.
already is.
Yeah, there already is. Like there was a point in my life where my mom, she would tell me, she goes, if you don't marry someone from Zahu, I'm going to be destroyed. So then I'm like,
They
Mom.
like to pull that guilt card. To
Yeah, I'm like, destroyed? She goes, yeah, I will be destroyed. She goes, if you want to figure out how to kill me,
Yeah, that's the way.
and she was telling me this when I was 7, bro.
Yeah.
So I'm young, and I'm like, all right, cool. I gotta find someone that's Zahunaya, or if not, my mom's gonna die. So it's like, I don't want her to die, and then my brother married a white woman, and my mom's just like,
So he killed her first.
yeah, he killed her, but my mom's like a cat. She got nine Nineveh lives.
Oh, yeah.
So she's just like, it's fine. Just find someone that you really love. And even when I met my fiance, like I was telling her, I was like, this is crazy, by the way. Like you're meeting me in the midst of an identity crisis where I'm like really learning deeply about my culture. So as I was learning it, we were learning it together. Like I went to this Assyrian museum in Chicago, and she was with me, and like we're like walking together, and we're like looking at books and writing, and there's like a jewelry company that Assyrian jewelry company, Tel Keppe, that sent me some jewelry, and a lot of it looked like the writing on these walls.
Yeah.
And then
Cuneiform.
you know what I mean? This is the original, right?
Yeah,
So
that's cuneiform.
this is cuneiform, and this is from aqueduct Jarwan, which is led irrigated water from the mountains all the way to Nineveh.
Crazy. It just looks like a bunch of divots.
And like Gemma talks about, there's just fascinating archaeology around Tel Keppe. Inscriptions, symbols, and monuments, whether from writings or drawings, that are found in the folds of the earth through excavations, all help establish a history of the people who lived in previous centuries or antiquity. This is that picture I took, and it's probably the coolest picture I have because of all the cuneiform that you could just touch. Museums, you can't touch that.
Yeah.
This is out in the wild.
This is the original. Like this turned into.
I stood I was sitting like on the steps here.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
we're going on, and you walk around, you're looking. There's nobody in sight.
There was a shepherd there.
There was a shepherd, and a couple kids that came out of nowhere to see, who are these Americans?
Yeah.
Who are these
Yeah,
foreigners that are out here? But there's literally like, wow,
shepherd
there
only
is
spoke
nobody.
Sudanese, probably, right?
And I heard that they used to protect this area, this region, but
No, they let it grass
just let it,
overgrown, and you got like sheep shit everywhere, and
and this is kind of in the next page, just kind of part of the river where region. So like Tel Keppe's landscape is rich with wells, hills, and archaeological sites that highlights the historical significance. The wells indicate advanced ancient water management, while the hills and ruins reflect a strategic and religiously significant settlement. Numerous artifacts, including seals and cuneiform inscriptions, provide evidence of Assyrian and Akkadian heritage, underscoring the area's importance of ancient history.
but no Chaldean history.
And to continue on, so that where that river was, this palace was the palace of Sennacherib's vacation home. Numerous hills and wells indicate that the area's rich history and importance in ancient time. The presence of fortified structures, monasteries, and churches definitely suggests a developed and continuous settlement with significant religious and cultural influences. Discoveries of ancient construction, including wells and ruins, continue to offer insights into the historical lifestyle and strategic importance of Tel Keppe.
Now, a lot of these places have been destroyed by the Kurds. They come in and they deface, and they try to
A lot of graffiti.
They try to destroy the faces on there. You know why? This is cultural erasure. If you destroy these Assyrian sites, then they can claim the land as theirs. Because why? There's no history there that you can point to. It's really backfiring because the more they try to destroy it, the more they unearth things that continue.
Crazy.
No, it's serious. Like there is something divine happening right now. Whether it's the awakening of, Chaldeans realizing they're part of this larger tapestry of Surai people, and the fact that they're continuing to unearth things. There's more research and archaeological expeditions that are happening, whether it's University of Connecticut or Pennsylvania that have invested a lot of money. There's Italian expeditions there, French and Russian and so on that are really looking into like what's really going on here, the start of civilization. We're realizing that our language is a lot more deeply historically tied to the ancients, the Akkadians. We didn't know this before. We're just now finding this out because of other people investing time and resources into figuring this out, because other people are finding that this is worth learning about. And the more we realize about our history through internet and sharing and Discord and Twitter Spaces and Instagram, and this is how we got connected with Paul, and this is how I bonded with in Iraq with Alex in a bus going to some of these archaeological ruins. Like, yeah, this is pretty crazy, isn't it? It's like, yeah, it is. I'm learning Surat. Oh, cool. Yeah, it's really cool.
And it just continues. I mean, the Jemu talks about all these different Akkadian and ancient relics, seals, inscriptions, all can be found around Tel Keppe. But not only that, he talks about how ruins haven't even been excavated. They're still located west of Tel Keppe, east of Tel Keppe. There's Christian relics still available, and like you see here, it's like they found stamps, and like these are kind of sample of like what stamps would look like.
And that stamp looks like the Assyrian star.
Very much, yeah. It's
looks
just a
similar.
generic. It's just a generic stamp that you could find like in cuneiform.
The Assyrian star looks more like a cross of like kind of like that, and then there are rays coming in between.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what to call that, to be honest with you.
They're stamped steels. That's how they. So they would have the rock or mud or clay, and they would just stamp it. It's just an example of
It was like sort of a signature is what they used it for.
Mm-hmm.
But you see the cylindrical seals as well. They roll it on the clay, and that was like their
We invented
signature.
stamps.
Yeah, we invented stamps and signatures,
Yeah.
and they were used for like receipts.
Yeah.
I'll give you this, and you give me that, and this is a receipt of our transaction.
Yeah.
And there are these beautiful depictions that when you roll it out on a flat clay, it actually tells like a story. So that was the way of putting your signature.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty
But
impressive.
it started because of receipts for trading goods.
Yeah, but water wells. There's about 4 water wells around Tel Keppe. Water's obviously a big issue over there. So they can be found. Wells can be found inside and outside. But what's really very interesting, and why I think the mound that we just talked about is a fort, was because when somebody was digging for a grave, he picked up a stone, and when he picked up that large stone, water started rushing out. And so basically, what's discovered that there are 4 irrigation canals from that well, one to the east, one to the west, one south, and one to the north. And the well ends at the bottom with a reservoir made of stone that has 4 channels. The irrigation channel systems were popular during the reign of King Sennacherib, who built many irrigation systems, including that Jirwan with the cuneiform. And they believe that actually the Hanging Gardens were in Nineveh, and not necessarily in Babylon.
Yeah, they think it's a misnomer.
Yeah, I tend to believe that actually there was probably both.
Yeah.
They're probably Hanging Gardens in both as a collective, sharing of culture. I think just the atmosphere down in Babylon would have been much more arid and dry, and
yep.
would have destroyed most of those plants. But
Whereas Nineveh was more valley and
Yeah.
fertile and had weather that was supportive of gardens.
and all these irrigation systems are all very similar in like all our other villages, Kremlesh and Bartella, for example. And then there's even not just these wells, but also archaeological hills, and he provides a number of names like Diwan Hill, Mutbal Yamta Uti al Buhaira, if I'm saying it right. But
Hideout, yeah.
yeah, and then and then there's even one Tel Keppe, located to the west, contained depictions of a Syrian god Nisroch, and it overlooked on a plateau overlooking the Tigris River.
And we're talking about it. We were wondering if it's still there. Next time
Yeah.
we go back to Tel Keppe, we're going to look for this depiction of this Assyrian god, who was the god of agriculture, which would make sense because we were very agriculture-oriented people
Yeah.
in those valleys. Those are like the fertile valleys.
You guys gonna pose as archaeologists?
I
digging?
actually emailed the University of Pennsylvania to see if I could join an
probably do it,
expedition.
Yeah. I don't know if there's like an
Yeah.
archaeological outfit.
Yeah.
I'd love to
that
get
It's
connected.
like, yo, this
I'm
is
sure
my-
you can Amazon that.
Yeah, bro.
Halloween.
Yeah, bring some stones
Yeah,
back.
exactly.
Yeah, and
I
even
mean,
Nisroch is even
If you do, don't tell anybody.
Nah, man. I'm trying to sell it.
just historically some biblical, cool historical biblical knowledge is that Nisroch was discussed by Isaiah, and how in the reference to Sennacherib being killed by his sons, and this temple is where he would have died, apparently.
So the Bible mentions this
Yeah.
agriculture god. Yeah. And it's Nisroch is actually said to be derived from the Hebrew word Neser. And Neser was a name given to a plank of wood that was discovered by Sennacherib on his return to Assyria from his campaign in Judea. And the sages write that this plank, the Neser, was originally part of Noah's Ark, and that Sennacherib worshipped it as an idol. And it would therefore be concluded that it was this idol that Sennacherib was worshiping when he was murdered by his 2 sons near Tel Keppe. So Tel Keppe is a place of great historical significance, not only to the ancient Assyrian kings, but even in the Hebrew tradition, and memorialized in the Bible. So it's just fascinating. You never thought about Tel Keppe that way. You thought about it as this village that was not worth even preserving, which you see it in great disarray currently. But maybe some people will start to care about this village because it's got crazy historical significance, biblical significance, archaeological significance,
So they just need resources and money.
Yeah.
which we have.
But
Yeah.
so if
They
you go
just
back,
need passion and care.
if you go
But they need
back and you
security, too.
rebuild
They
it,
need
then they're
security,
just
too.
going to take it from
They
you.
need security.
What's that?
You need a
Yeah.
security force.
Of course.
There's no chance of maintaining it with. I mean, even if you reconstruct the whole thing,
Look, man, all we got to
They'll-
do
they
is,
walk in
is
and
pay
take it
some
away.
security guards for that place, and we got the money for it. And
it's not. There's too many angles, too many different. You're in the middle. They can come get you all kinds of different ways, surround you and kill you. That's it. It's over. It's gone.
I don't
Bye-bye.
think it's that simple
To do what?
to just take it and kill you and so on.
They just did it. They already did it.
Yeah, well-
it's only because they disarmed
Well,
us.
actually,
They disarmed us.
I know what you're trying to say, but yeah, where he was going is the Kurdish Peshmerga army was supposed to protect us.
Right.
They disarmed us, promising us to protect us. And the night, and this is so funny because it's 10 years from the night that ISIS was about to come in, the
They dipped on
Peshmerga
us.
left at 2 a.m. and we stopped them.
Set up.
It's a setup. I believe it's a setup.
Of course.
But if we are
And-
self-sufficient as a people,
We should have never gave up
we
our
never,
guns.
yeah, we should have never gave up our arms. We could have taken ISIS on.
They would have never have showed up.
But every time
Yeah.
our people got
They would have never
screwed
have showed
They
up.
knew you don't have any arms. now.
Exactly. They would have never
Every
have showed
time we
up.
got screwed is when we trusted somebody outside of our community.
Wow.
Every time we got screwed.
Damn, that gives me goosebumps, bro.
Yeah.
But so Israel has the chance because they're backed by the ocean. And if they only have to fight one
Yeah, we're
front.
and they
landlocked.
have
We're landlocked.
they're
Fuck.
funded.
Except to the south. But the south is like 8-hour, 9-hour drive from.
Why do you say not to the south?
Why? Because we got Shat al-Arab. It's on Basra. It's near Basra. We have water underneath us. The Khaliji Gulf.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Dang. So like as an example, like that type of military protection, like you mentioned, pay some guards to be like, we create checkpoints and basically this village, basically make it feel like private. Basically.
Yeah, we could do it. It just takes some money. And once you got the manpower, then you might get help from the Iraqi government. But if you don't have the manpower and you don't show that you care, they're not going to care. People only care about your business as much as you care about your own business. They're not going to care more for you than you care for you. And that goes in anything that you do, whether it's business and so on. Why would somebody else care about your business if you don't?
Yeah, but people like, as an example, like Shalma Foundation as an example, like they're like, raising money, putting money into, these villages and like rebuilding. And
Sure.
I know there's like some churches that they reconstructed and, so it's like there's like a presence of, reconstruction happening.
Sure.
It's not like but basically it seems like you're saying there could be way more and there should be way more,
Oh, yeah.
which
definitely.
I agree with, but.
Isn't it more humanitarian, though, than
Then, yeah.
economical?
That's
Like,
what
Yeah,
they're
of
doing. They're doing
course,
more
right.
not NGO humanitarian.
humanitarian,
aid. We need
right,
more. We need more economical, political, and
That's the problem.
Yeah, that's the
Once you
problem.
build it, they'll take it.
that's the problem.
What are you're going to build a factory? They're going to have a nice day. Thank you for this beautiful factory.
Right.
Well, I mean, they're already done tons of Surai businesses, and they're flourishing. We've got hotels, we've got restaurants, we've got cafes, we've got hospitals. We've got a lot of things there. I mean, and
But
nobody.
not in Tel Keppe, right?
Not in Tel Keppe.
Like
no.
Arbil
further
and
north.
Arbil
Yeah,
and-
but we've got other villages surrounding Tel Keppe. It's just that, once you plummet an entire village, the people are going to leave and go somewhere else out of convenience. These people don't have money to build all these houses.
Right. No,
but
I
there's
get
a
it.
desire to return back to Tel Keppe because there's a lot there for our people.
Yeah.
So, but I think that the move is investing into villages that we already have, where our people have settled and
Yeah,
they've
yeah,
got
of course.
villages there, and then go back and rebuild Tel Keppe. But we can do little projects. Nineveh Rising just did a big project there. They did a study library, and they're working on a
That's amazing.
cafe. So instead of having people go all the way to Mosul to study and do things like that, they're going to go and study in Tel Keppe. So it's
At the church.
build
the
it and they will
community center of
come.
the church kind of.
Amazing.
Build it and they will come.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sort of like a lot of Chaldeans they moved to Southfield and
Yeah.
then they went to like other cities and
Yeah.
then Southfield is like like ruins.
Yeah.
In some ways, and it's like, oh, let's go back to Southfield.
Sure.
And build some stuff there.
Yeah.
And so it's like, yeah, wow, it's interesting. Build a comedy club there.
And you, yeah, why not? And the thing is, you will
I
never.
don't think anyone would come, but
Nobody that's never been to Iraq will understand the vision until they go. Once
Yeah.
you see it, and maybe if you go to Turkey as well and you see what our Suraya people have done there, you're like, oh, we've got a template. And people are going to these areas of the world specifically to see ancient Assyrian, Sumerian, Babylonian ruins. That's our stuff. So it's like there's a tons of opportunity in tourism over there if you're a forward thinker that way.
I think someone's gonna eventually do that. I mean, it's
I'll just say, I mean, the Mongols came in 1700s, destroyed it. Came in 1845 and destroyed it. 1900s, World War I, World War II, and then now ISIS. Yeah, right now it looks very bad, but it's happened before, and we've been there since this whole time.
Also, we never
So-
had the internet in order to garner attention. We've got even like we connected with some evangelicals that are doing a lot of projects there, and they find our history
Right.
very fascinating. And they think that there's a prophecy that Nineveh needs to be saved. Isaiah, what is
That's the only thing that's going to save it.
outside help?
No, the prophecy.
Yeah.
It's got to be bigger than our desire.
For sure.
For sure.
For sure. But
It's gotta
if
be
we
a
have no
world-
desire,
gotta be a
beyond
world-
this world.
Just like Israel, kind
Purpose.
of, in a sense. I mean,
Yes, correct.
when they're rebuilding, I mean, and the prophecy is that there'd be a highway from Syria to Israel to Egypt.
but the Israelis had to care about it first. It wasn't outside people caring about it. It was Israelis going to all these conventions and saying, hey, this is something important to us. So if it's not important enough to us, it's not going to be important enough to those that are willing to provide assistance.
Well, they also had to make their own people feel that it was important, who had never been to Israel, maybe from Europe. Their whole family's been in Europe for generations. So what they did was they got American Jews to come travel to Israel. They see Israel, they got kind of propagandized in their own positive Israeli ways.
need an
They
Iron
came
Dome.
back. We need Iron Dome too,
We
yeah.
need an Iron Dome.
Yeah, straight up, bro.
They came back, and when they came back, they're all invigorated, kind of like how me and Joe came back from Iraq, and back home, and we're promoting our culture and stuff like that, and want to move forward.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Yeah,
It
thank you
was
very much for joining
amazing.
us, and
Thank you.
And there's a lot more information for sure.
I appreciate you
Yeah.
guys
Yeah, thank you for sharing your studio
allowing
with
us to sit in on this.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
And thanks for having us, and
Keep
Allowing
up the
us to use your
positive
studio.
work for sure.
You know, this is work is not even about us. You know, this is about our kids' generation. Maybe
You can see it.
They'll
You can
see.
tell.
Yeah, yeah. We don't really benefit. I mean, you know.
I'm not making money out of this. I can spend other time marketing
No.
myself as an attorney,
Yeah.
making
Yeah.
money. I mean, I do that still, but
This is
you
because
know,
we believe our culture is worth preserving.
great,
As you
yeah.
can see, I mean,
Yeah,
this is
absolutely.
forgotten material
Yeah.
from not even so distant ancestor that thought it was so important to write about this. So this is really about paying respect to our ancestors and leaving this legacy of information sharing and having some pride and, you know, being excited about who we are and being able to share with others who we are. Because if you don't know really how to characterize all this and bring it all together, then you're just going to refer to yourself as an Iraqi Christian or,
Yep.
you know what I mean? And we're so much more than that.
I think we have the coolest culture in history in
Yeah.
the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, like it really hit me hard, like when I started to like travel and like meet people, and because I always felt like I didn't know where I belonged. Like I actually suffered from over hyphenation. I had so many hyphens in my name, you know, and like there's some people that they don't, you know, like I'm like, oh, you're Chaldean, your parents are from Iraq, you're American. You weren't born there, and like I didn't even then I added a new hyphen in there, which was Assyrian, which I didn't even understand. So then I just felt like this level of confusion. Then I was like, let me just start with the alphabet. Let me start with square one to understand what Assyrian means and what it is. And then it's like, what does that do? And it's like, you know, like because you asked, it's like, let's say a Chaldean were to understand they're Assyrian. Now what?
Yeah.
You know,
Now
it's like,
what?
It's like now what? And it's sort of like, then it's like that's up to you.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, what do you want to do with that? And it's like, so understanding that and learning that, just even understanding that Chaldean was a religious sect was just mind blowing to me because if I feel like I'm just polishing dust from a rock. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Iraq, not Iraq.
No, both.
Yeah, that was a play
Iraq.
on words.
Yeah. And then you do that, and then you start to see it, and it's like this feeling I get, like when I'm, like you mentioned, like the Hegel, like everyone's holding hands, and it was really designed to like keep people together. Like that just like affects me, and it makes me more proud of who I am.
There's nothing like it in the world. And the Turks learned from us, the Kurds learned from us, the Arabs learned from us. We're the ones who invented this type of dancing. Just because our history is so much longer. You know, their language is modeled after our language. But we talked about this during break. You know, how would you then describe yourself if you meet somebody? One, we tell people that we're from Mesopotamia, the start of civilization. Our language is 5,000 years old. Our history, we celebrate New Year's, and it's now 6,775 we're going into. We're in 6,774th year. And we invented the laws, the wheel, discovered the stars. The reason why we have the horoscopes, and you got the Libra, Scorpio, Capricorn, all these shapes that we have came from us. Surath. Mathematics, algebra, so many. There's a whole list. Maybe we will put it up on our website at lukishamash.com.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you guys very much
yeah, sure.
for this amazingness.
Of course, bro.
Thank you
Yeah.
guys.
Catch you next time.